Hello, I am Gentile, a student at Southern New Hampshire University through Kepler, and I am working on a project called the World Health Worries. And this project requires me to answer two interview questions, which I'm going to answer them remotely. So let's get started.
Global health seems to be in the news more and more in recent years.
Yeah.
Talk about what global health is and why it's important to pay attention to it.
Global health, it is a part of study, uh, research and practice that focuses on improving the quality of health of all people around the globe. This is very important because it helps us to protect ourselves and also to protect one another by providing education, by providing solutions, by also teaching people how they can take care of themselves, how they can prevent themselves from getting this disease that can damage our health and our lives in general.
Disease can come to us in different ways.
Mm.
Explain the difference between communicable and non communicable disease.
Thank you. Communicable disease is a disease that is spread from one person to another or from one animal to another animal. An example of communicable disease is Ebola, is AIDS, and malaria, and other many diseases. Also, non-communicable disease, it is a disease that's not spread from one person to another. I can give an example of diabetes, cancer. Yes, those are non-communicable diseases because they are never spread from people to other people. Once you get them, you are not likely to cause other people to get them.
Let's talk about Ebola, since I'm sure most of our viewers have heard a lot about that. What is it? Is it communicable or non communicable? How do people get it?
Um, Thank you for the question. Ebola, it is a disease that is caused by a virus called Ebola, and this Ebola is also called hemorrhagic fever. This hemorrhagic fever, also known as Ebola, uh, attacks humans and primates, of course, caused by Ebola viruses. So the virus of Ebola spreads from people to people, from animals to animals, or from animals to people. Uh, so it is a communicable disease, as I said in my example previously, because it is spread from people to other people, or from animals to people or to animals, and people get this Ebola once there is a direct contact of their blood once infected, or even the direct contact of their fluids to non-infected people. From infected people to uninfected people, then they will get this Ebola. Yeah.
What would raise a person's risk of getting Ebola?
Uh, Thank you again. The risk of getting Ebola would be raised by, of course, a direct contact of infected blood or fluids from an infected person with Ebola, or to non-infected people with Ebola. Also, when a person eats raw meat from infected animals, or fruits from infected, which are eaten by infected bats or infected animals, then these people, they will catch Ebola. Yeah.
So, to prevent or at least lessen the chance of getting Ebola, what should people do?
That's a very good question. I think, and I have been learning that for people to prevent this Ebola virus, normally there is no cure to Ebola, but we can do something to prevent or to reduce the risks of getting Ebola. So, among those practices that we have to do, I can mention that healthcare workers should make sure they wear protective clothing while caring for patients with Ebola, because once they don't take care of themselves, they will also catch Ebola. Also, it is very important to isolate Ebola patients so that they will not spread Ebola to other people. Another practice that is very important is to wash our hands and to use disinfectants after leaving the toilets. Also, we should also adopt a culture of sterilizing the equipment used by many people in order to make sure we ban Ebola infections.
Outbreaks such as the one related to Ebola can generate a lot of rumors and misinformation, and even panic about what the disease is, how it is transmitted, and how likely people are to get it. Talk about the need for educating people about facts versus myths.
Yeah, yes, for sure. There are really myths and facts about Ebola. Among those myths, I can mention this. People think that if you have sex with an infected person with Ebola, you will not get it. That's not true. The fact is that you will really catch Ebola once you just sleep with infected person. Another fact is that um, we should know that even dead people from Ebola can make us catch the Ebola. So there is a myth that once a person with Ebola dies, there is no chance, there is no way, there is no possibilities to spread his Ebola. That's not true. That's false. We have to know that Ebola uh, can spread even if the patient is dead. That's just some of the myths and some of the facts about Ebola. Also, there is another fact that uh, a person who once got caught Ebola cannot spread it while he is now fine. While he is cured, he cannot spread Ebola. And people think that once a person used to have Ebola and he's a survivor, then he will always spread Ebola and people will always have to put that person in quarantine. That's not true. Yeah.
How about the complications that Ebola raises for the rights of travelers and the responsibilities of governments? Casey Hickox, for example, a nurse from Maine who returned to the States following a trip to West Africa in the fall of 2014, promptly had quarantine related restrictions thrust upon her, restrictions that she was very much against.
Ah.
Briefly describe the difficulty of balancing individual rights and governmental responsibility.
Uh, I think that the travelers should understand that in case the government put people to quarantine, it's not like they are violating their rights. No, they are trying to protect them and to protect the nation and also to protect their families. For example, uh, this person called Kachi Hickox was very, very, very shocked and and she was not happy when she came from West Africa, and when she went to the US, the government put her in quarantine, and this was very, very safe and secure to help her know if she caught the Ebola, so that she couldn't spread Ebola to her family, to the neighbors, to anyone who could just go near her. And she was not really supposed to be sad because, yeah, this for This was for her sake and for her family's sake, for the US's sake. I wonder if Ebola gets to the US, it will be a scandal, and what the government has done is really good, and people, travelers should understand that this is a protection, not a violation of their law, their rights, because the government has responsibility to protect its people. That's right. And also travelers has have right to travel and to be free, but they have to remember that the government really think about them and wish that no one in the US can catch Ebola. Thank you.
Let's talk about smoking and tobacco use, which is considered a big World Health problem and raises similar issues to Ebola in terms of rights and responsibilities.
Yeah.
Just about everyone knows that smoking harms health. What does it do to the body?
Oh, that's a very nice question. Uh, Even if smoking is not prohibited in many countries, even in my country, people can smoke whenever they want. But for sure, smoking is a harmful habit that we should all be aware of. Starting from what? From what smoking does to people. I can start from the circulation, the blood circulation in our body. When you smoke, the poisons from the tar in your cigarette enter your blood, and this makes your blood thicker, and you have the chance of clot formation. You have also the chance to increase your blood pressure, which you can die from, and your heart beats very faster than before, and also, so it's like your heart beating is not the same as it used to be. Also, not only in circulation, your organs also, they change when you smoke. There is an increased chance of arteries narrowing and clots forming, also, which can increase your chance of getting stroke is when the blood can no longer circulate into your brain, and then at that time you will die. You will die from stroke. Yes, as I said, there are many consequences and many negative effects of just smoking, and I can also mention another negative effect of skin. When you smoke, your skin looks older than it should. It means that, like, if you are 30 and you smoke, you will look like a person who is 50, and that's weird and that's not healthy. And you will start showing wrinkles from your face and from your, yes, from all over your face, and that's not true. Also, smoking is very harmful for our bones because it makes our bones very weak, especially for women, and women should really know that. Yes. Also, there is another negative effect that I'm not going to ignore. When you smoke, your lungs become very sick, and this can even provoke to have a lung cancer, and even the cancer from your tongue, from your lips, from your throat. This is all due to smoking. A study has shown that uh, people die from lung cancer at a rate of 84%, and also they die for from chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases at a rate of uh, 83%. This is very dangerous, and really people should try to understand and to stop smoking. Thank you.
What about secondhand smoke? Explain what that is and how it affects people.
This is a serious problem all over the world. Secondhand smoking is when a smoker just is smoking around a non-smoking person, and this person which is not smoking consumes the smokes from this person which is smoking. So this is a very bad habit, and it affects people, especially children. As we know, children are growing and they breathe faster than we do as adults. So by breathing faster than we do as adults, children consumes a lot of smokes from smokers, and this can really cause like can cause those children uh, to to have ear infection, to have just diseases like cancer, like a lot of diseases, and they can even die. Yes, they can even die from this smoking, and people should understand this and stop from smoking, because it does not only affect them, but it also affects the surroundings of smokers. Yes. Question 10. Let's go to number 10.
People don't typically think of tobacco as a drug like heroin or cocaine, but the addiction it creates is strong, isn't it? Shouldn't
Yes.
we think of tobacco use as a form of substance abuse?
Um, Actually, tobacco is not really taken as a drug, but actually tobacco is not like taken as a serious drug, but it creates very strong addiction. For this reason, people and governments should look for a way to stop smoking, because not only smokers get negative effects from smoking, but also the surroundings also are affected by this smoking habit. So for me, uh, we should really work hard to stop smoking, or just find ways to prevent secondhand smokes to affect non-smokers, especially children, as I mentioned before.
Thank you for talking to us.
You are welcome.